Hey everybody. Today we are going to take a look at the rack system. So the rack system's been in our platform since day one. We do have some substantial upgrades to it. So let's go ahead and take a look. 11, there we go. Full screen, I like to do it that way. So we go down here, we're going to go to enclosures. And what we have on the enclosure workspace is it shows me the tab that I was at last. So I was at the racks, but you can show all your different enclosure areas, which would be racks, cages, groups, and habitats. So they're all in the same workspace, but then we can drill down into each one of them. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drill down into the racks. So I can do that one of two ways. I can specifically go to the rack by clicking that button, or I can go to the racks view and it shows all my racks. And if I had more than this, I could slide back and forth, right, across the panel there, and working it in this view, or I can click again and go into that view. So I can get to this view a couple different ways, and it just depends on how you use it. So different people use it different ways. So we're going to try and make it as encompassing as possible, so everybody, it's kind of dialed in for everybody. And again, when we're showing these and when we're doing this, this is a kind of our first launch iteration. And I think if you remember through Husbandry.Pro Classic, in the first 2 years, we would have updates and updates and updates all the time. So our next 2 years is probably going to be like that with Husbandry.Pro Next. We've got different views available here that we're going to wait until after we launch and add those a little later on. Just, different colors, different things like that. But functionality should mostly be here right now. So in this view here, which is the full rack view, all your racks, you can change the header types, pulse, capacity, dashboard, or identity. And those just change these indicators at the top. And we will add more of these as time goes on. And it'll come from suggestions from what our users want, really. You let us know, we will go ahead and add additional ones, because it really takes nothing for us to add these different identity markers at the top, right? So I'm going to leave it on that one for now. So when you're in this large view, you can simply drag animals around between different racks without a problem. When you drop it on a female, so if you take a male and drop it on a female, it's going to ask you a few different questions. It's going to ask you if you want to pair the animal, you want to swap positions, or if you want to put the target into the holding pen. And what that does is it allows you to kind of take an animal and say, okay, I'm not sure where I'm putting it right now, so let me put him up in the holding pen. He's off to the side. Later on, I can drag him out and pop him into a rack wherever I need it. So I could, for instance, take this animal and I could physically drag him up into there, and then I can drag him and drop him into somewhere like that. Or that could be part of that automatic collision process, right, that happens. So that's available on this page. And it's also available on the drill down page. So when you hit view here, we go a little bit deeper into the system, right? So when you first come to the single rack view, this panel on the side has KPI. It has, which is key performance indicators. It shows percentages, things like that. It'll show any health metrics, anything like that that is required for this rack. So kind of a quick at a glance for the rack. You can go with the info, which this shows the medical, this shows when it was cleaned. Pairing reminders, kind of the last, required things since these animals were acted upon will go in there, right? Anything important about individual animals will land in this reminder area if there are any reminders about any of the animals in this rack. And then you can go to animals. So that will show nothing until you click on an animal. And if it has a photo, the photo will appear up top. And then this is an intelligent button where AI kind of determines what your most active active activities are. So the activities you use the most will show up here for each animal. So if some animals you do a lot of feedings on, some animals you don't, you just do a couple weights on, I guess. It would just build that for you based on history. But again, you can always just pop up a regular activity by going to activity, right? And you can go ahead and just click that, and away you go on the activity for the animal. So we're going to stay in view format for now, and we're going to click on that. And again, it shows the last activities for that. It shows indicators and reassignments. The other thing that happens with that, so we'll take a look at this one here. Same thing, if you click on an empty spot, there is no animal assigned, but it allows you to quickly assign one, right? It pulls up this box at the side here, and we're just going to go BP, and we're going to grab this one, and we're going to put that animal in there. So now that animal has been assigned. we are now full on that rack also. Right, so it allows that. Now, one other thing that we've got going on here is if we view this rack and we go, okay, I'm going to work with this rack, but I also want to work with another rack. We can go ahead and click that button, and we can pull up any of the other racks that we have. And now you can interact just solely between these two racks, right? Drag animals back and forth between these two racks, and then you can go ahead and turn that off at any time, and you go back to your single view rack. We're just today on my agenda, I've got the installing of the indicators, and indicators are, does it have to feed? Is it over a certain weight? Custom indicators you put up yourself, and then they will show up on each of these tags or on each of these panels. One additional feature that we've added to this version over other versions, and I just noticed we're going to have to bring it into this view a little bit better, is sizing. Okay, so everything that we've done so far in racks has been kind of this format, right? So they're the long square boxes, like a rack, right? So now we're allowing you to go in and actually, when you build the rack, if you pull up any of your old racks that were made in Classic, you can now pull up that same rack, and we can go ahead and use this alter aspect ratio for the bins, right? So these are my green tree pythons, right? So for me, I want them as square, right? So when I view them, so they don't quite show it. So we kind of have to fix this to make them square, but if I view them, they show that way, right? Instead of in this kind of sweater drawer kind of configuration. So you can go ahead and do that with any of your racks. If you have racks that are in a different configuration, go ahead and adjust your rack, give it a different aspect ratio, right? Because then these boxes will change, and you can do it by row or you can do it by the whole group, right? I think I went 1-to-1. There we go. Okay, so there we are 1-to-1, and I actually we'll go ahead and add the reverse on that. I just noticed, so we'll make it so you can make them taller than they are wide. And it's just a quick, super easy way to set up your rack. I'm going to save the changes on that, and away we go. So we're back to that. And the overview on the workspace does show a lot of key performance indicators also. So there's the rack system. We're still just finishing some final tweaks on it, but anytime somebody suggests something, we really want to make this. We've realized over time with Classic that a rack view system is something that a lot of people use to manage their systems on a daily basis. And so it's something we're really committed to building forward and making really the best rack system possible. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that one today.